Multiple sclerosis. Physiological damage to the neurons and how this damage then causes the signs and symptoms of multiple sclerosis. Let's take a step back and talk about autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune diseases are typically characterized by the presence of autoantibodies and self-reactive T cells, as well as widespread inflammation. They are conditions where the immune system makes a mistake and begins to attack and damage healthy tissue and organs. These conditions can affect any body system and at any age. They are currently believed to be incurable and in many cases irreversible, though remission is possible in some conditions. Some common autoimmune diseases that you may have heard of include rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, celiac disease, and type 1 diabetes, though there are many other autoimmune diseases. On the right, we see an image that shows the current idea of the etiology of autoimmune diseases. It is thought to be a combination of environmental factors. Some examples of those would be infectious agents, smoking, UV light, chemicals, hormones, nutrition, and the microbiota, combined with epigenetic factors like DNA methylation, non-coding RNA, histone modification, chromosome accessibility changes, and genetics. Some of the genes thought to be involved in this is class 2 and 3, the STAT4 and the BOC2 genes, as well as others. A combination of these factors leads to innate and adaptive immune dysregulation, which then leads to autoimmune diseases. Some hot topics in autoimmune disease regarding the etiology currently being studied includes viruses like Epstein-Barr and the microbiome, specifically in the gut. What is multiple sclerosis? Multiple sclerosis, or MS, is an autoimmune disease. It is classified as a chronic neurological disorder. The main components of this condition includes inflammation, demyelination, and neurodegeneration. Inflammation is part of the immune system and is a natural response to injury and infection, causing redness, swelling, heat, and pain. Think if you sprained your ankle, the common symptoms that you're going to be experiencing after that sprain is inflammation. In addition to inflammation, there's demyelination, which is the damage and destruction of the myelin sheath, and neurodegeneration, which is irreversible and progressive damage to the structure and function of neurons. MS primarily affects women with an average onset at 30 years old. It has a relapsing and remitting pattern. This pattern is referred to as flares in the autoimmune community. Some days are great and relatively symptom-free, and other days not so great, and symptoms can be really bad. Physiological damage found in multiple sclerosis, Part 1. The hallmark physiological change in MS is demyelination. This demyelination disrupts the conduction of the neuron's action potential. As you may recall, myelin insulates the neuron and greatly speeds the action potential process, as well as makes the neurons more efficient. On the right, you can see an image which shows the difference between a healthy myelinated neuron and a damaged myelinated neuron. As you can see, in the healthy neuron, signals can easily travel from the brain to muscle fibers, whereas in the damaged neuron, signals from the brain are blocked and do not reach the muscle fiber. This image is found in our textbook, and it is figure 3.10. Physiological damage found in multiple sclerosis, Part 2. Another physiological change found in MS is from demyelination, causing lesions called plaques. These plaques show myelin loss as well as destruction of oligodendrocytes and reactive astrogliosis. MS is an inflammatory condition, so in addition to plaques, we also see inflammation. Over on the right, there are two images, which were found in the same article written by Christopher Luzio. The top image shows these so-called plaques. It's the indurated areas. The plaques seen in MS is where the name sclerosis came from. The bottom image shows inflammation. It is a hemotoxylin and eosin stain. It specifically shows perivascular infiltration of inflammatory cells composed of activated T cells, B cells, and macrophages. Physiological damage found in multiple sclerosis, part 3. On the flip side, we see neurodegeneration. Though this part has not been as well studied, and as this is a short lecture, I am not going to go into much detail on this part. There are a variety of neurodegenerative biomarkers being studied currently to potentially help predict, diagnose, and slow disease progression. Some examples of possible biomarkers include neurofilament, Tau protein, NFL, GFAP, YKL40, chitinase, NSE, 1433, kyuranine, myelin basic protein, extracellular vesicles, metabolomic, and lipid biomarkers. These include both cerebrovascular fluid and blood-based biomarkers. What are the signs and symptoms somebody living with multiple sclerosis may experience? So these are the common ones, which include sensory loss, muscle cramping second to spasticity. Spasticity causes an increase in muscle tone, which then causes resistance to movement. Dysfunction of the bowel, bladder, and sexual organs. Dysarthria, which is muscle weakness that causes difficulty speaking. Optic neuritis, which causes a loss of vision or a loss of color vision. And pain in the eye with movement. Bilateral facial weakness, which is facial weakness on both sides of the face. Facial twitching, heat intolerance, fatigue, pain, difficulties with concentration, attention, memory, judgment, planning, executive function, abstract reasoning, and speech. Aphasia and dysphagia, acute transverse myelitis, which is sensory autonomic, reflex, motor, and or speedster dysfunction below the lesion. All of these signs and symptoms are found in the following resource. What is the impact of multiple sclerosis on quality of life? Treatments for multiple sclerosis have increased the lifespan in people with this condition. Based on the symptoms listed on the previous slide, it would be fair to assume that there is a decrease in health-related and non-health-related quality of life in people living with this condition. The question is this correct? What was found in the study by Hewen was that people with MS had lower physical and mental health-related quality of life compared to those without MS, with a larger decrease in physical quality of life. Something a little surprising is that as people with MS aged, their physical health-related quality of life decreased, but their mental health-related quality of life actually increased. What can be done to improve overall quality of life? Treatments including medication, physical therapy, and coping skills, as well as anything that would improve the quality of life of a healthy individual, can also improve the quality of life for a person living with multiple sclerosis or other chronic health diseases. How damage in neurons lead to the signs and symptoms of multiple sclerosis? Many of the symptoms of MS stem from the demyelination of neurons. When neurons are damaged, communication between neurons is disrupted. As the central nervous system integrates all parts of the body, symptoms in MS can range from mild neuropathy to complete paralysis, depending on which neurons are affected and to what severity. Some of the symptoms of MS stem directly from the autoimmune component, an overactivation of the immune system, which causes symptoms like fatigue. This is the end of my presentation. The following are the resources that I used in the creation of this PowerPoint presentation. If you have any questions regarding multiple sclerosis from a neurological or autoimmune standpoint, or about autoimmune diseases in general, please do not hesitate to ask, as I would be more than happy to discuss these topics with you. Thank you, and good luck with the rest of your semester.